What's up, Heat fans? This is Nick Roloff of the Heat Report with another video for you guys. Unfortunately, not in the office today, but I still wanted to talk some Miami Heat basketball. And today's video is all about a potential trade for James Harden. And I will come out and say this right now. I don't know if it will happen. James Harden reported the Philadelphia 76ers training camp today. Obviously, he still doesn't want to play for Daryl Morey over there in Philadelphia. Maybe things change once he's in the building, playing with Maxey, playing with Embiid again. But as of now, the trade request, I should say, has not been rescinded by James Harden. So there is still that rumor out there of him potentially being dealt. There is also rumors of him only wanting to play in Los Angeles with the Clippers. Who knows how accurate that is? Who knows if the Clippers are even going to go all in for James Harden? They don't have a ton of trade assets to send for James, but I will say this, a Harden, Leonard, and Paul George trio would be very dangerous in the Western Conference. The question is, are they going to pull the trigger? But the reason why I'm even talking on today's video is because Stephen A. Smith went on First Take today and had a very interesting quote towards the Miami Heat and James Harden. He said, I would love to see James Harden in Miami. I think they need somebody with his skill set. I actually think he needs Miami. He really does. That level of structure with an organization that he respects. The Clippers and Heat stand out in my mind, but I would say Miami. So Stephen A. Smith with some strong words about James Harden that he should go to the Miami Heat and the Heat should trade for Harden. I am going to break down if they should, if Pat Riley will, and how the fit would be on the basketball court, but this is why you subscribe to the channel. Had an off day in the middle of the week, but I'm still coming here bringing you guys the latest Heat rumors, and the season is just about 2-3 weeks away with preseason basketball picking up next week. Hopefully we'll be doing some watch parties, so stay tuned, hit that sub button. All right, my initial thoughts on this quote is I don't think Stephen A. Smith is wrong. I think James Harden would be a perfect fit with the Miami Heat. The Heat wouldn't have to trade a lot to get the beard. And I'll say this for James Harden at this point in his career. He is no longer the guy that can carry a team offensively. I think we have seen that the past couple years in Philadelphia, as he has been the second option, at times the third option, to Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid. Now, if he was in Miami, he would be arguably the third or fourth option offensively, but he would be the primary ball handler. And I think that's what the Heat need, right? Like, if you look at this Heat roster, the only true point guard they have on the team is Kyle Lowry. But I would imagine if the Heat traded for James Harden, Kyle Lowry would be in that deal. We explored it on yesterday's show that a Kyle Lowry, Duncan Robinson, and first-round pick package could net you PJ Tucker for Miami basketball player and James Harden. Tucker obviously would be a perfect fit at the power forward position. He's played in Miami a couple of years ago, and he played a really pivotal role in the Heat having the #1 overall seed that year, and they got to the Eastern Conference Finals, obviously lost in Game 7 to the Boston Celtics. But Harden as the point guard, with Tyler Hero as your running mate in that backcourt, with Jimmy Butler at the wing and Bam at center, let's just throw PJ Tucker out of this. What if he's not in the deal if Miami got him? Let's say it's just James Harden. That's a really good core four. You can either run Nikola Jovic at power forward. Maybe if you want more experience, you can go with a Kevin Love at the 4 and have Jovic, Jaime Jaquez Jr., Caleb Martin, Haywood Highsmith, and Josh Richardson off the bench. That's pretty enticing in my opinion. That is a really strong bench unit to pair up with a really good offensive starting 5. And I think that's the biggest thing that Heat fans are going to neglect going into the season. Yes, I do think the Heat are going to be competitive. I actually think they will have a better regular season record than they did last season. Heat won 44 games last year. I expect to get that number up to 47 this year because people want to clown them for saying they lost Max Strus, they lost Gabe Vincent, they got worse this season. Well, I would argue, I don't give a shit what the money says. Josh Richardson, in my opinion, is a better basketball player than Max Strus. Strus getting 4 for 64 out in Cleveland. Good for him. but he is not worth that in my opinion. Now, losing Gabe Vincent to the Lakers on a 3 for 33 year deal, that is a little bit of a loss in my opinion because he was a really good backup point guard who ended up starting for the Heat in the back half of the regular season and obviously started every game he was healthy in the postseason. So losing Vincent is a little bit of a hurt. But when you think of adding Josh Richardson over Strus, this team can really get better. And now if you wanted to add James Harden into the mix, this team would take it to another level. They would be, no doubt in my opinion, the third best team in the Eastern Conference if you just swapped Kyle Lowry and James Harden. Obviously, you'd have to probably send maybe 2 or 3 first, probably only 2 because the Harden situation is weird and he doesn't want to be in Philadelphia. So maybe if it's just a 1-for-1, Lowry, 2 first, James Harden. I'm willing to do that. I'll say this, though. Pat Riley is not going to do that. He simply is not. It's just who he is. I don't think he wants to deal with Harden's BS at times, whether it be being out of shape, not being someone who can perform in the postseason constantly. We've seen him fumble and choke and shrivel up in the big moments constantly in his career at Houston, in Brooklyn, and now Philadelphia. Is that he had a couple massive playoff games, but in the Game 6, in the Game 7, when it matters the most, James Harden goes away. Now, I will say this, though. I think that he would not shrivel up in Miami. Why? Because he would not be someone the Heat relied on. He would, at best, be the third option on that team. Jimmy Butler is going to take the big shots and show up in the big moments. That is not anything that we are doubting as Heat fans. Bam is the number 2. He could be very deadly, and if he takes another leap offensively this year, maybe incorporates a 3-ball. Maybe he's handling the ball more, facilitating more in this Heat offense. That's a fantastic second option. And then you have Hero and Harden blending in as that third or fourth option where it could differentiate between the two every single game. I think Harden is a really good fit, and I want to talk more about the offense that he can run, but I'll ask you this guy right now. Should the Heat trade for James Harden? Not will, should. I want to say, get your guys' thoughts on this. Should Pat Riley pull the trigger and make a move right before the season starts, trading for James Harden? Type Y for yes, type N for no. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. When you think of the offense the Heat can run, it is something that would give opponents nightmares, right? And what have I always said? And this was my main point in why getting Damian Lillard was such a big key for the Heat in this offseason. Jimmy Butler plays his best basketball when he is off ball. What does that mean? Some people might think off ball means sitting in the corner waiting to take a catch and shoot 3. Obviously, that is not Jimmy Butler's game. But the true meaning of off ball is setting screens for your teammates. Diving, backdoor cutting, baseline cutting. That was wild. Cutting. But Jimmy Butler is so dangerous when defenders lose sleep of him. That is the best part. So when I visualize an offense with James Harden on the Miami Heat, what do? I think James Harden bring the ball up the court, Bam setting a screen at the 3-point mark at the top of the key. And James Harden is going to be able to curl around that. And he'll have 2 options. He can take a step back 3 or hit a little dive cut to Bam Adebayo. But there's endless options, right? I said 2, but those are the main 2 because that's what Harden likes to do. He either likes to hit his roller or he likes to take a step back 3. But there's other options there too. He can attack the cup and put pressure on the defense, allowing the defense to squeeze in on Harden and Bam as he rolls to the rim, which would allow a Tyler Hero to be standing open for a wide open 3. But say he hands it off on a little dump to Bam Adebayo at the top of the key. So he sets a screen, rolls, catches at the free throw line. Bam is really good at that 15-foot jumper in front of the rim. That is his bread and butter on the offensive end. So teams are going to be aware of that. They crash on Bam at the top or the free throw line. Now what happens? You have dangerous Jimmy Butler cutting or Tyler Hero open for 3. I just visualize an endless amount of possibilities with this Heat offense, whether it be in just a standard pick and roll with James Harden and Bam. Hell, you can even run pick and rolls with Jimmy Butler and James Harden, allowing Jimmy to get the ball in that free throw line, the elbow line extended, and let him either hit his patented mid-range jumper or play make for others himself. I think James Harden on the Miami Heat would just make an unbelievable offensive firepower. And We know the Heat struggled with offense last year. They were one of the worst three-point shooting teams in the entire NBA. They struggled in the NBA Finals with their offense. They were able to get contributions from Vincent, Caleb Martin, but that went away in the finals, and what happened? The Heat didn't get to the 100-point mark 4 out of the 5 games they played, and the only game they won in the NBA Finals was when they eclipsed 100 points. So scoring for the Miami Heat is something that is going to be lacking this upcoming year. If you add James Harden, it would not be lacking whatsoever. You would have one of the best offenses in the NBA. The defense is a question, but I'm always going to trust an Erik Spoelstra-led team to have good defense. The question is, how is the Heat's offense going to complement their defense in the regular season? Their offense got good in the postseason, which allowed them to make that run, but the reason why they were the 7th seed, almost missed the playoffs, and ended up getting the 8th seed after losing a play-in game was because of how bad their offense was. James Harden would allow the Heat to have a fantastic offense. That's going to do it for today's show. Appreciate everyone who stayed tuned and had me break down X's and O's more than anything. This is a little bit of a rumors video, but I want to talk actually about how he would fit with the Miami Heat. So appreciate everyone who tuned in throughout the video. And if you're still here, you're a real one. You obviously like what we're doing. So if you have not already hit that sub button, please do, because we're talking everything Miami Heat. And when season comes around, we're doing watch parties. You will not want to miss it. So make sure you subscribe to us here at the Heat Report.